Welcome back to the Life and Business Podcast. So, today I want to talk about leadership and growth in association with taking responsibility and accountability, especially in an area of weakness or where you need to grow or where you are growing. And this episode was inspired by a story, a conversation that I had with somebody recently where I'm going to say, I'm not going to get all the details right, but I'm going to say maybe in the past 3-4 years, they have fired two people from the same role, two people, and they have had this person with them in that role for about a year now. And they are also going to, at least from our conversation, they're planning to also fire this person. And as we were diving into it, what was, again, a little bit of their hesitation or their fear of firing this person. I'm not saying they are or they aren't going to fire this person, but I'm saying their hesitation here is because of the judgments of other people. For example, if I fire this person, how is that going to make it look on me? Because I have fired 3 people in this role in the past 3 or 4 years. What are people going to say about me? What are they going to think about me? It's not going to be, they might not think it's that person anymore. They might not think it's that role anymore. It's going to be me. And I was like, yes, 100% it's you. And I would own that. Like, I would own that because these other people around them on their team are more seniored. They have been in it for longer, and I would just take full responsibility. And I would say, absolutely, I'm firing this person because I'm still learning. Now I know what happened with the first person, why that was a failure. The second person, even this third person, I have learned so much, right? And so when I think about being a leader, right, if you're going to stay on this team, if you're going to grow, if you're going to lead well, you have to take responsibility and you have to take ownership of this person is not, they were not set up for success from the beginning. I did my best at the time. That wasn't enough. And now I need to let go of this person because this relationship has been built on XYZ. And moving forward, now I know better. I know how to hire better. I know what questions to ask. I know what standards to set. I know what expectations to set. I know where we need to do checkpoints, right? And so sometimes we don't want the judgment of other people and the perception that other people have about us. Let's say that again. We don't want other people to have negative perceptions about us. And so it stops us from making a decision that needs to be made. It stops us from taking an action that needs to be taken now. And what I mean by that is you could keep this person on, right? For any of you who have team members and you're like, well, I don't want everybody to think that I hired the wrong person. I want people to know that I hired the wrong person because I had to fire them because they're bringing the company down maybe, right? And again, I'm not talking about that person's situation anymore, but I'm like, if I hired somebody, let's say for my real life experience, this is 2 times now, I have paid a lot of money, like just a lot, let's say the tens of thousands of dollars, right? For coaches to help me with something very specific. And I'm going to say that was the wrong person. Like on the outside, it was the right person. On the inside, when you were experiencing, I was like, whoa, this is not okay. This is wrong. This is not, and I'm not saying they were wrong. It was just not what was marketed, right? And so I'm just going to say that was, quote unquote, the wrong decision. Like when I'm actually experiencing, I'm like, that was not it, right? And I get to take responsibility. I'm like, and now I'm going to learn 2 times how I'm going to build out my programs, how I'm going to do my coaching, how I'm going to build my refund system, how I'm going to build my expectations, how I'm going to build my marketing, right? Like your marketing, your messaging needs to match your delivery, right? So that's a core value of mine is like whatever I'm telling people I'm selling, that's what I have, right? And so anyway, going back to for any of you, right, where it comes to leadership and accountability and taking responsibility, even in your weaknesses, you have to decide that you are the person who's going to say, I didn't know any better, and now I do. And so maybe I have to fire this person. Maybe I have to demote them. Maybe I have to promote somebody else. Maybe I have to promote them because I had them in the wrong roles and this was not their area of expertise and skill set. And this other person fits better here. But again, so many of you are worried about other people's perceptions of you that again, may be true, maybe not true. And then it stops you from taking action that is required for your business growth. Because let's say, for example, they're like so worried about other people's perception of like, well, I'm going to look like I'm dumb and I hired the wrong person. And so I don't want to look dumb. So I'm just going to keep this person on for the next 5 years, 10 years. And it makes your life just so much harder. It makes your jobs so much harder, because we were talking about like, what are the negative effects of this person continuing to stay on? And there are so many things where they're making mistakes. You're having to work extra hard to like catch their mistakes. And then it's wasting more time and more resources and more money, because now instead of like 5 hours of work, you're doing 15 hours of work, right? And then not only that, but now instead of that person working 5 hours, they're working 15 hours because of their mistakes, right? So it's not just like they can't do the job correctly and meet this expectations and standards, but also it's costing in all of the ways: time, resources, energy, investments. And so for you, it's like, what are the perceptions that other people have about you, the fears that you have? How is that negatively affecting your growth right now in life or in business? And I want you to reflect on that question and just ask yourself, maybe, what is an action or a decision that I need to take or do or act on that I haven't because I was scared of how other people would perceive me negatively? Okay, what are my fears there? And something else that I was thinking about, and I'm glad it popped up into my head, was sometimes people's perceptions are right and sometimes they're wrong. And it's really important as a leader to be able to navigate both. Okay, because for example, sometimes you do something and people's perceptions of you are wrong. What are you going to do about that? Are you going to sit there and whine and cry and be like, oh my God, I can't believe like they're judging me, like they're not even right, they don't even know what's happening on the inside, right? That's not going to help you at all. You just stand firm in your decision, knowing who you are and what you did, because you know all the details, and their perception, their judgment is their perception, their judgment, and they're going to handle that on their own. That is not your responsibility. And then sometimes people's perceptions and judgments are correct. Like this example. Yeah, you are right. It's not them that's the problem. It's not the hires that are the problem. I'm the problem. I didn't know how to hire. I wasn't asking the right questions when I was bringing these people in, right? I wasn't training them correctly. I wasn't setting correct standards or expectations or check-ins, or I wasn't checking in on their work at the right times in the right, places or in the right paces. You are correct. And guess what? Here's what I'm going to do moving forward. And so sometimes you have to just be so honest. And this is also something that people are scared of, right? Of like, what if people's perceptions of me are correct? Great. What do you want to do about that? Because both could be true, right? Their perceptions could be right. Their perceptions could be wrong. What do you want to do about that? That's the important part here. And so as you guys walk away from this episode, I just want to invite you guys into reflection of your life and your business. Where am I taking accountability? Where am I taking responsibility? Where am I not? What actions do I need to take? What actions have I been waiting to take on because of my fear of other people's perceptions and judgments about me? And I really want you guys to now think about also, how is this affecting me now negatively? Like, what is all the stress that it's causing me, all the anxiety that it's causing me, all the sleep that I've lost? And then I want you to think about later, after you've done the thing that you needed to do, to see how much relief is there, how much peace is there, how much surrender you have now, and how much more sleep you're going to be able to get.